back, traders. We're back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be taking you through how I've been trading a $50,000 account with AUDJPY. This is basically a one-phase account. So what that means is the only thing you have to do is achieve a 10% profit target, and then you get funded. All right, so I'm also going to be looking at AUDJPY, as this is the pair I was trading. I'll also be taking you through the matrix of the challenge. All right, guys, so before I do that, with AUDJPY, as you can see, the $50,000 account, all right, all you have to do is get a profit target of 10%, right? And once funded, you can get up to 95% as your profit share, right? And one of the things that I actually like about AUDJPY is they don't have a daily drawdown, right, like other prop firms. So the only thing that you have to do is make sure that your account never goes below the total maximum drawdown of 7%. All right, so if I take you to the dashboard, this is basically what we have. As you can see, I have actually managed to reach the 10% profit target. The only thing now that I'm waiting on is the minimum trading days, right, which is 5. And so I'll just be taking some trades with less risk, so that I don't affect the profit target until I reach the the minimum trading days of 5. All right, so I'm going to be taking you through the trades. As you can see, if I go down here, these are the trades that I took, and I was only trading one pair, right? So I'm always telling people that the most important thing is to be selective when trading, right? I see a lot of people trading 10,000 pairs, trying to get funded, and that's not how you should be going about it. My approach is only going for high probability setups. So as you can see, we had buys on AUDJPY, and I'm actually going to show you on the chart. And we also had some losses, as you can see, on the same pair. But we made all that money back with this trade here, which was a sell, right, on AUDJPY. All right, guys, so I'm going to go to AUDJPY, and I always start with the weekly time frame, as I want to understand what the bigger picture is saying. All right, so if we just look at this from the weekly time frame, one thing we can identify is price has been breaking structure. So that's a lower low, lower high, and we had a lower low, right, which was fresh. But remember, this is your weekly time frame, so we just look at this to get an understanding of what the market is doing, basically. So when I open up the chart, this is what I saw. Price was actually back at a very interesting area, at a supply level. As you can see, at that same level we had a drop, base, drop, meaning this becomes our sell zone. So what got me interested in this pair was, when I opened this up, I saw that price was actually in a supply zone. So if we move down to the daily time frame, as we move down, we have an understanding of what's happening in the higher time frames, because it doesn't make sense for you to just jump to the 15 minutes, and look for trades, even if you want to scalp, because if you don't understand your higher time frame, you might find yourself being caught up in losses. All right, so this is what we have. As you can see, price is into that supply, right? If we refine it a bit, we also have this drop, base drop area right here. This is where price is currently reacting at. All right, so to keep this simple, I'm going to jump down to the 1 hour, right, as so I don't really waste much of your time explaining this. So this is what we had, right? As you can see, when price pushed into this area, right, we had the first leg, right? So we've got this first leg right here, and then we went for the second leg. So the reasons why I took the buys on AUDJPY is I looked at this from the smaller time frame, and just by looking at this, one thing I can identify is we had a rally, base, rally, right? So it will make more sense in the 30 minutes, 15 minutes, so you can see it with more clarity. But this is the area that I'm talking about, right? So if we draw our order block right there, this is what we had. This was actually a demand area. So price was going up, right? Gave us a higher high, higher low, and a higher high. But I was looking at how price was reacting to this demand area. Remember, I wasn't looking to actually hold this for long. As you can see on this dashboard, right, on these buys, I had 3 positions on it. with 10 lots each. So that was like 30 lots. So I was not looking for a crazy, I was not going to hold this for a long time, right? And the only reason why I like Funjo FX is, they don't really have much limitations on the lot sizing in your challenge phase. But of course, I wouldn't advise that you use crazy risk in your funded phase, because you might find yourself breaching their rules. Remember, their capital is very important, right? So that's what we had. So the setup was very clean, right? If I can just remove this for you, so yeah, something like this, right? So that's what we had, right? So me entering the trade was based off of this demand area. That is where I actually took the buy, right? And I closed, right? Because I was not really looking to hold this for a long time, right? So when price then pushed up, the good thing about it is you should know where to place your targets. So since I bought, I was actually looking at this supply area for targets. Why? Because price can potentially reverse from that area, right? So what usually happens most of the times, right, or what usually confuses a lot of people is the following, right? If they identify something like this, first leg, right, and let's assume we've got a demand area at this point, something like this, right? So obviously we know what happens here. We're looking for buy entries here, and what we are waiting to see, because if you look at the structure is clearly in an up phase, right? If you look at it from these time frames, right, from the H1 H2, but from your daily, you do understand that we are on a weekly supply or daily supply, right? So what will usually happen is, the reason why I had my targets there, if I'm going to buy from this demand area, right, I want to take my profits near this supply area. Why? Because this is where orders are filled, right? This is where orders are filled. But also at the same time, I want to follow my structure. So the only reason why I would take my profit here, because anything could happen, right? For me to have more confidence and look for more setups, I would want to see a break of structure, probably a retest and a move back up, right? So the reason why I took my profits there was because I kept in mind that I am on a supply in the weekly, right? So I wasn't looking for more. The trade that I was actually looking for here is the sell, right? But remember, for intraday traders, we can go both directions, right? As long as if we stick to our rules, right? So that's basically what happened. Price pushed back, and then price continued going down, right? So what we can identify here is we've got a higher high missing, meaning price failed to take out this higher high, right? Price failed to take out this higher high. So let me just clear this up. If we're looking at this just from the M15 time frame, very simple. We had a rally, base, drop. So this becomes our reversal entry point, right? As you can see, we've got a bearish engulfing right there. So sorry about that, guys. So as you can see, price went to the area, didn't really touch our area of interest. Remember, I had already taken profit, gave us the first leg, and then the second attempt to the supply area, price then gave a reaction, right? Price then gave a reaction, and as you can see, we had many opportunities to go short. So that is actually the sell that I took here. As you can see, this sell right here was actually able to negate all these two losses, right? So it's very important for you to be very selective, because I do not get why most of you guys have 100 trades, right, running, right? Losses will always be there, but the most important thing is knowing how to manage your risk well. One loss shouldn't break your account, right? Refrain from trading with emotions, right? Have a checklist, be a professional, right? You cannot bring your emotions to the market. The market does not care about your emotions. But I'm looking at this, we did have losses, but they did not do much damage to us, because this trade covered the losses and we're actually able to reach the 10% profit target, right? So very simple. If we now start looking at the structure, what we can identify, I think the M15 will be better, because what we see here is we've got a drop, right? And this drop broke structure, right? So remember, high, high, low, high, high. But remember, we haven't broken this one. But just looking at the internal structure, we had a break of structure right here, right? And a pullback, right? So remember, we look for these pullbacks, and we want to see price getting back to a supply area or an order block, right? So the M15, I moved down to the shorter time frame so that I can minimize my risk. So just looking at this simple structure here, when we broke structure, the zone which was responsible for breaking structure, the zone or the order block which was responsible was this order block right here. So as you can see, price then made its way back up to that area. So we had so many opportunities to actually join in on this. But remember, I knew what I was looking for. My only objective was to make sure that I reach the 10% profit target. So I actually took the sales, but I took profit because, that was enough. There was no need for me, to keep holding the same trade. All right. So, I hope you've learned something from this video. Especially when it comes to over trading, right? You do not have to over trade. You do not have to over risk. If you take a loss, it's okay, right? You can always come back, reanalyze, and make that all back. But it's very difficult for people because most traders, once they get into trading, they already see themselves driving a Lamborghini next week. And when they lose money, it gets very emotional. We all know how it is. But as time goes and if you stick to a system, it becomes very easy for you. So yes, guys, this evaluation was passed with just one pair, just one pair. No need to trade 1,000 pairs. All right, guys, so before we close it off, we've got some great news for you guys. FundraFX actually has an offer, right? For most prop firms, I think this is actually the first prop firm to do such, right? And for all these accounts right here, all they want to see from you is, if you can trade, if you can manage risk, if you're a good trader. So the offer that they have is all you have to do is pay $10. Right? You do not have to pay these amounts right here. All you have to do is pay $10, and after you've been funded, you can pay the rest, right? I think this is very fair, especially for traders who are struggling with capital. This is very fair, and this is a limited offer which will end on the 22nd of July. So, if you've been struggling to raise funds, I do believe this is a very good opportunity for you guys to get involved in prop firms and actually be able to create some good income for yourself. All right, so if you're interested in that, you can sign up using the link in the description below so that you can get this offer with only $10 regardless of the account size. All right, so yes, guys, we are also going to be announcing our winner, right? Remember, we give away a two-phased $10,000 accounts every week. So on Friday, which is tomorrow, I will be announcing the winner. And for you to participate and stand a chance to win one of these accounts, all you have to do is comment in the comment section how MMK has changed your trading, leave a like, and subscribe. Cheers, guys.